Welcome to Backstage 421, the musicians only podcast, with your host, author, and music lover, Charles Campbell. Charles will have an awesome array of guests from many genres of music, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. By the way, Ray Mattis is the composer of this awesome intro music.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast. And today I have the awesome honor of having two individuals that I just discovered recently. They're in a group called When Rivers Meet, and it's Aaron Bond and Grace Bond. They're amazing musicians, and I want to welcome you guys to the podcast today.
Thank you so much. It's good to speak to you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
It's great to speak to you guys. So I'll tell the audience my story a little bit. I found you guys on YouTube, on an Instagram or Facebook post, one or the other, and you guys were offering a free CD. I said, a free CD? Hell yeah, I'll try that out. So I ordered one, and then I went and downloaded everything you have out so far. So I went to iTunes and got all your stuff. But yeah, you're a really, you're a talented duo, and what I'd like to do is kind of let my audience know kind of who you are. Give us a little bit about your background and what got you into music.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and we're actually husband and wife, and we've been together for about 20 years, so quite a long time. But we really we've been writing music together for a long time, playing together for a long time, but it wasn't until sort of 2018, 2019, we've been writing for years, and we finally found a style that we really believed in. Before that, we were sort of writing music, but we were like, yeah, we'll keep going, we'll keep working on it.
Right.
And we just got to a point where we found we had a lot of faith in our music and what we were doing. So we decided to kind of throw it out there into the world. Thankfully, people sort of instantly started to enjoy it. And then we, of course, went into lockdown. So we lost all we just recently given up our day jobs. We thought we were going to go all in.
We got a van and converted it into a camper van.
And we thought, right, we're just going to go and tour. We sleep in the back of the van. And of course, COVID happened. So all the gigs got cancelled. And we decided we would start live streaming every week because everyone else was doing it. And we thought we would try it. And we kind of went on our own little mini viral journey then with our live streams, going from like having 5 friends on a live stream to over 1,000 people. And it just grew our fan base beyond what we could ever imagine. We came out of lockdown and we're doing headline tours. We came over to the States last year. It for us.
I wish I'd known that, and I wish I were a fan then, because I'd love to see you guys live. I went and perused the YouTube videos and the offerings that are out there. And while I love studio recordings, I am in love with live performances, and you guys capture that really, really well. So when did you come? When did you come to the States last year? How was that?
Oh, so we came over and played in Omaha, which was amazing. We wasn't sure how it was going to go. We were very nervous because we'd not played abroad before, and I tell you, we were blown away, absolutely blown away by the response that we got. It was just amazing. So
we've been lucky enough to my sister lived out in the States for 10 years, so we've both been lucky enough to come and visit, but it was mostly we went to the West Coast, and it was exciting because it's like a new part of the world to see, and sort of different people to meet, but we were just like overwhelmed. Everyone was so lovely.
We were welcomed so well. It was amazing.
You don't know if you're lulled into security of England's so small compared to America, and we're playing very much like our music's very rooted in like the American culture and roots, so we didn't want to feel like we were coming over and trying to sell something to the originals, if you like. So we were by the response, and hence we're coming back, and we can't wait.
Wow. Well, I need to know when you're coming and where you're going to be.
Definitely.
Because you guys are amazing. So what I want to do is kind of step back a little bit, and I ask this of all the musicians, and you can go one at a time if you'd like, but who are some of your early influences in music? Who drove you into the musical direction that you're in now?
Well, for me, and I say this a lot, but my very first CD that I ever got was Johnny Hooker, and
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love the blues and I love rock music, because the other CD that I got at the same time was Iron Maiden. So it's like we went to see the other night.
We went to see them on Monday night. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, and I think my sort of early influences first was actually like soul and Motown. So a lot of Dusty Springfield. My dad was really into that, and then I went through a massive country phase. My brother-in-law is American, and I discovered all the country music scene in America.
Yeah.
And so I discovered like Gretchen Wilson and
oh wow,
Martina McBride and all the great country singers out there, which was really inspiring. Yeah. And then Aaron introduced me more to like Cream and Led Zeppelin. Bad Company, discovered Paul Rodgers, which was life-changing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's kind of cool as well, because like you was into the newer country stuff and I was still into the older stuff like Johnny Cash. I'm wearing a t-shirt like that, Johnny Cash t-shirt, you know, and Elvis and things like that. And it was like, it's a real combination of lots of our influences are lots of different genres and people, to be fair.
For sure.
Well, you know, you can feel that in your music. I love the blend of blues and rock. And your voice, Grace, is so suited for what you sing. It blew me away. I mean, I listened. I was like, wow, this lady has got it. Whatever it is, you have it.
Thank you.
So tell me what it's like for you guys playing in front of a live audience. I don't know how many times you played in front of live audiences, so you can kind of let us in on that. But it looks like that would be a fun show. So what are some of your experiences playing live?
So for years and years, like I say, we've been playing music and doing gigs. We used to do a lot of I'm not sure if you call them like function gigs, so like parties, weddings, and we've done that years. We're both sort of involved in different projects, so we had a lot of performing experience, but it wasn't really until we were playing before lockdown. We were playing really small gigs. It was pubs and like very small audiences with our own music. And when we came out of lockdown, because we'd grown so much through our live streams and online, we sold like 7,000 tickets and went off on a headline tour. The tour bus rocked up outside and we jumped and we were off. And it was like we say, it was one of the most amazing experiences and one of the most terrifying experiences. For sure. Like it was the expectation of like people all coming out to see you was very different to what we'd ever experienced before. But something that, and
we thought, damn, we got to be good.
We've got to be good. And we've just finished our second headline tour. And I mean, we both we live for performing. That's something we've always loved to do. And it's why we do it, really. I mean, it's great to be in the studio, but it's nothing. But the performance is what it's all about.
Well, being on that stage and performing in front of people, and one of the amazingly most coolest things in the world is when people are singing your lyrics back to you.
Oh yeah, man. And I'd love to know what that feels like. I'm a small town horror author, so my creativity is in writing books. And I don't get that at book signings. I don't get people so but that is freaking awesome. I love going to shows, because especially when artists are really into it, because you feed into them and they feed right back into you. So they give you the energy that you give to them. So I love live music. So I want to kind of fast forward a little bit. Like I said, I downloaded and you tell me if I'm incorrect, but so far you have 2 albums out, correct? You have a third coming. Okay.
So we've got an EP collection, which is which is 9 songs, 2 EPs. Yeah, we've got 2 and a live album. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Coming out it comes out on the 8th of September.
Yes, and I wanted to talk about that as well, but I want to go back to your first official album, I guess, is Saving Grace. Is that correct?
No, the first album was called We Fly Free. Yeah.
Oh, We Fly Free. Oh, is that the free CD we're getting?
No, that's the EP collection.
That's the EP collection. All right. Well, I've got an EP collection on the way, and I've downloaded 2 albums. I downloaded Saving Grace, and the other one was I think I downloaded We Fly Free. So awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, tell me about what went into making We Fly Free. How did that album come about? I know you released EPs first, so if you want to go that route and kind of tell me how you came up with that collection of songs. And I'm very interested in lyricists as well. So if you can tell me about that process, how you put that album together, that would be awesome.
So sort of practically we actually we wanted to find a producer to work with who kind of got our sound to start with. And we were sort of testing the water because we tried our stuff out in pubs and small venues and we knew it was starting to resonate with people.
Yeah.
So we wanted to find a really good producer to work with. And we found the producer we still work with, and he's now actually in our live band.
Nice.
He's amazing. He plays drums and bass on all our records.
Yeah.
And so we found him and we started to record a song a month. So we were putting out a song a month, and that was the first EP. We carried on, we done another EP, and then we decided we wanted to do a full album. People were starting to ask for it. And that was just as lockdown happened. So we actually, all the three of us locked down in his studio together and recorded We Fly Free.
Yeah.
And I remember we were in the studio, and because we're completely independent, Aaron's best mate manages our merch, my sister is our manager, and my best friend does all our marketing and events. So we're like a close-knit family, and that's really important to us.
I love that.
And I remember we were in the studio recording We Fly Free, and I said, I think this is going to be really good. And I think we need to get some PR and we need to think a bit bigger. And so we started phoning around, and so that's kind of how it all started to ignite. But when it comes to lyrics, this is the man to talk to.
Well, I mean, when we first started doing the EPs, they were the very first songs that we started recording in the style that we are now. We were actually at a Guns N' Roses concert, and Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown were playing. They were supporting Guns N' Roses. And before this, we were doing more acoustic stuff. It was like fingerpick style and more folky Americana kind of style. And we discovered that even though we were enjoying what we were doing, we weren't fully loving it. And all of a sudden, we was at the Guns N' Roses. Tyler Bryant came on, started playing Mojo Working. Grace literally stood up, go, "This is what we should be." So. And that was it, really. And then, like the next week, we went out and bought a Gibson Les Paul, started playing slide guitar, and then we wrote Free Man, which is the very first song we wrote, and that's on the EP, the Uprising EP, and it kind of went from there. And that style from the EPs and We Fly Free are very much a combination of like blues, rock, and Americana, kind of all gelled together. And that was the start of our journey. And with Saving Grace, the next album that we did was definitely more of a rocky feel to it. So and losing the Americana feel a little bit more and go more into
because I play mandolin and violin, so it kind of gives us a bit of a different vibe, which is cool. Right.
Well, those are the two albums I downloaded: Saving Grace and what was this one again? I'm so old. Saving Grace and what was the second one?
We Fly Free.
We Fly Free. Yeah. So I've downloaded both of those, and I've listened to every track, and you've been on my playlist for the last few days. So and I'm going to order the new vinyl. So I want you to talk about the new album you have coming out. What can we expect from it? And the first two tracks I've heard, Perfect Stranger and Play My Game, are really, really good. I enjoyed both of those.
Thank you. Well, I mean, we're really excited about it. We spent the first 3.5 months. So we went in January the 1st and we were in the studio.
But what we don't recommend is living in your van during the winter months. Yeah. It's not fun when the toothpaste gets frozen.
No, it was really cold. And
oh my God.
Our van is like an old V-dub. It's nothing like your gorgeous, like
Winnebago's or anything like that.
Very small. But it's kind of it's very much still sounds like us. It is us, so it would do, but we've not made any drastic changes, but I'd say there's more extremes on it. We like to sing
it's
like
rockier as well, isn't it?
We like to do a ballad and like a nice sweet harmony, but then we love to rock out as well. So there's like real extremes more so than probably on the other albums. On the new album, I would say.
And I think one of the major things is the guitar tones. there's fuzz all over this album, which we'd never had before. So yeah, so it gives a real different tonal feel, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I am looking forward to it. And what's the name of the new album, so the audience knows?
It's called Aces Are High.
Aces Are High. So I'm going to put links to your website below so everyone can get to it. And I'm going to order myself a copy for sure, because I collect vinyl, so I love that kind of stuff. So you told me about kind of quickly about how you rose to where you are now, but I'd like to talk about the struggle a little bit. So give me some of the challenges you guys face trying to come up as independent artists. I'm looking for a good juicy story here. So tell me about some of your challenges that you had.
Well, I think one of the things that someone told us once that is very, very true to what we've come across is the fact that the music industry is unlike any other industry in the world. And it never seems to be for the artist. It kind of like, it's more, someone said to us, there's vultures up here and there's sharks down here. And yeah, you are in the middle trying to survive, basically. That's kind of how it feels, to be fair.
It really does. And we try and generally, like, we're very positive people, but it is like, it's a tough industry.
Yeah.
And
especially being independent.
I mean, we have we see it all the time where we lose out on opportunities because, and we know the reasoning behind it. And I think something that really genuinely annoys us as well is that it's the artist that's last, and it's also the fan who is put last.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So like, something that's really important to us is if someone is supporting our music and they order a vinyl and they order a t-shirt and they're supporting our music, that they get it on time, it is not scratched, or if it is scratched, they get good customer service. And like Aaron, like we say, we have Aaron's best mate Stu, who we know everything is meticulous with what we do, and we see so much. And this is why we have now turned down a major record deal, is because people don't care enough. They don't care enough about their fans, and like, people, that's literally the lifeblood of what we're doing is our supporters. And if they're not treated properly, we won't sleep at night, and that's why we will always be independent, because we can keep control over what happens.
Well, I will tell you, and I don't mean to cut you off. I've talked to a few pretty big name musicians, and I don't know if you've ever heard of Jen Wigmore, but she's huge in New Zealand. And she signed to a big record label when it was like 2009, 2010. And she has she's done a 180, and she's independent now because of those reasons. You know, she'd rather put the stuff out herself, market it herself, and make sure that things are where they're supposed to be. And I think ZZ Ward has just done the same thing. She's going on a tour. She was making her own t-shirts that I bought one and is sitting over here. So I love supporting independent artists, but she's another one that was on a big record label and said, screw this, I can do this better myself.
Well, no one cares more about your art than yourself.
Right.
And if you want to portray that as best as you can, you've got to do it yourself, haven't you?
And like, it's definitely not an easy path.
No.
And that's why we're really lucky in that, like we say, it's our two best friends and my sister are our integral part of our, and it's because they equally care. They're part of this team for the long haul. Like, they're not going like, they're in it. They genuinely care that we are portrayed how we want to be portrayed. And you just don't, that you have to, it takes time to build it. It's a lot of work, but we wouldn't have it any other way, because we want, like, when we go home, we're proof checking all the new artwork for the new album. We're writing our email that we're sending out tomorrow, and every single word is ours. And no one else in a big office somewhere has written it and doesn't have any idea about our music. And so it's got to be authentic, because people can spot it 10 miles away if it's not. And so it's really important.
One of the things as well with the gigs that we just come off our own UK headline tour about a month ago, and people are coming up to us going, oh, where's Stu, where's Sarah, and all this, which is like, Stu's my best mate, and Sarah's obviously our manager, Grace's sister. because we're all so integral into it. I don't know what am I trying to say here. It's like everybody knows everybody, which is great.
Relationships with everyone, because if anyone's had anything issue or question with merch, they've spoken to Stu, so everybody knows Stu.
Right. Well, that's awesome, because what I hear you saying is you've got a great inner circle of trust, where as with a bigger label or other people that you don't, quite know, they don't have your best interest at heart. Whereas the circle you have absolutely have your best interest at heart. They're family, they're close friends. They care about you. They care about you whether you're selling 1 million records or if you're selling 20 records. They love you the same. So that's awesome that you have that. And I hope you guys rock it to the moon, because you're both outstanding artists. What I would like to do, though, is for you to give shout outs to some of your bandmates. I know you two guys are in the front, but who do you got playing with you?
So our producer, Adam Bowers, he's not only our producer and recording engineer, he also plays bass for us, and he plays bass and drums and keys on everything that we've ever done.
All our records.
All our records, which has been amazing.
But live, he's our bassist and our MD.
Yeah.
So he's very integral.
He's very integral to our to what we are. And James Foxy Fox is our drummer extraordinaire, and he's a multi-instrumentalist himself, and he's just amazing.
So
wonderful person as well. Really easy to get along with, and he's
been with us from the start. We think the world of him.
For live music. Yeah. And then we've got Mike Curtis, who does our sound, our live sound.
Uzi Quattro, he produces our records.
So he does all our live sound, but he also has just mixed this last album, mastered the other albums that we did as well. So, and we're all from the same area as well, which is really cool. So they're amazing.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing shout outs to the people that play with you, because like you said, they're integral to what you're doing. So that's awesome. I want to go back to your name, When Rivers Meet. Couple questions there. First question is, how did you come up with that name? Second question is kind of a follow-up. When did you two as Rivers meet and start forming this band?
Well, okay, so we were in Sardinia, which is just outside of Italy, and we were on holiday, and we were playing with a name because we hadn't long gotten married. Grace was a Holmes, and I was a Bond, and we thought we used to go out as Holmes and Bond originally. There was an acoustic duo, and we thought we got their name. So what can we do? Bond and Bond, and it's just like, I don't know, it just doesn't sound very good. It sounds like a building firm or something. So we can't have that. So we can't have Bond because there's a like a violin quartet that are called Bond, I think. So we got let's think of a name, and we were playing with the name Rivers, or the word Rivers, and like I say, we was out in Sardinia, and we were overlooking this ravine where these two rivers met, and it was like, when rivers meet, and that was it. That was literally it. We're the rivers, and when the rivers flow, the music flows, and kind of like that said a lot to us. That meant a lot to us. So when rivers meet.
That's a great origin story. It's a great origin story how you came up with that name. Now, you played as Bond. You played as, what was their last name before?
Holmes and Bond.
Holmes and Bond. See, I'm 54, man. Things go in this brain and they fly right out. Holmes and Bond. And I like the way that you guys came up with When Rivers Meet. But when did you two first start getting together musically? What fired that spark for you two to, hey, we can do this. We can make a go of this. What was the origin of that?
I think it was kind of over an extended period. I don't think there was any spark of inspiration, sadly. I think when we first met, we were in different projects. I had a country band and I was in a Meatloaf tribute band.
Okay.
And Bryn was in a rock band. And I think it was probably
there's a few years in.
It was going to be 8 years until we were like, we should try something together.
We never thought of it before.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
It's so strange. Weird. I think I don't know. Maybe it was a whole nother level of commitment.
Maybe.
But then because we weren't songwriters individually either, so we were in different projects, but we hadn't really worked on songwriting. So when we did start to do stuff together, we knew we wanted it to be original. So then it was the process of working out how to write a song together.
Yeah, which was really hard. Really difficult.
We would butt heads a lot, and I think when you're that close, it's easy to be very blunt and very like. No, we just definitely butted heads until we kind of realised that we were much better placed if Aaron wrote the lyrics and I focused on the music, and then we came together. We were really able to, like, we got a bit of a system down after a long time. Yeah,
and the system works for us, and we've been doing it from then on, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, so it just works for us.
That's amazing. Now, as a writer, I'm always interested in other writers, whether it's an author or a lyricist or, you know, someone who writes screenplays. So, Aaron, I kind of want to focus on you for a second.
Yeah.
What is your process for writing a song? How do you come up with the lyrics? What inspires you? And do you have a set process that you go through with each song, or is it different with every one?
I think it's different with everyone, to be fair. It can literally spark from just one word, whatever that word might be, and then to write a song around that word. Or it could be literally a case of, can't really think of anything, what am I thinking about right now, and just write a load of rubbish. And then all of a sudden something sparks, and you go, oh, and then you start thinking of a story or something like that. And usually it's about, the lyrics are about an experience or what's going on in the world right now.
Right.
Generally the topics seem to be what's going on in the world right now, or a history of things that have happened either to me or people that I know, and just write about that. And that's my, you know, literally a very blasé way of quickly explaining it. I
think sometimes, like, it's difficult to process emotions, and it seems like Aaron's really able to sit down with pen and paper and kind of express them in a very abstract way, and read it, and you can take what you like from on a personal level, what you want from it, but to him it normally has something very specific, a very specific meaning behind it. So
and I like to think that I've got 2 or 3 different meanings as well to everything that's been written. So
but you normally have one.
But I normally have the one that I base around.
Well, what's great about music is it's up to the person listening how they interpret it. So, you know, whatever story you're telling, it could apply to them in whatever walk of life they're in, or, you know, a situation that they're in. I find myself, you know, listening to lyrics for that reason. I'm very lyrically driven when I listen to music. I love hooks and I love catchy songs and I love dance music. I love all that stuff. But a song that is really heavy and strong in lyrics, that man, that just crushes me every time. I love lyrically driven songs, and to be a lyricist, man, that I applaud you.
Oh, I'm intrigued. So how do you get your inspiration yourself when you're writing?
So it's kind of the same as you. It comes from different places, and I'll give you a quick story that actually came from this podcast. And I don't have the cover image right in front of me, but my first guest is a young lady. Her name's Brooke Singer from French for Rabbits. Shout out to French for Rabbits. She's from a New Zealand band. She's the lead singer. And I was talking to her, and she says, I was asking her questions about her background. And she said when she was a child, she used to go to piano practice, and it was her father's piano. And in the wood of the piano, she could see the image of a witch, and it scared her as a kid.
Ooh.
And I said, can I use that? And she's like, absolutely. So I have a book coming out October 31st called The Piano Witch, which was inspired by that story.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's so
I'm
cool.
liking that.
Yep. So the cover was released a couple weeks ago. You can find it on my Instagram, Facebook page, but if you want to take a look at it sometime. But it's a pretty cool cover too. But yeah.
Can we find your books online? Is it?
You can. They're at I'm plugging myself on their podcast. I apologize. It's valleyboypublications.com.
Oh wow.
But yeah.
Oh, thank you. We'll have a look into that for sure.
Definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, like I'm always very intrigued in other writers as well to see where, you know, where things go, if you know what I mean. So totally, that'd be really cool.
Kind of the same process. It comes from all different places, just like you. I observe people a lot. So characters in my brain that I see are out and about, and I write small town horror. So I write mostly what I know. But I did a whole podcast on all my stuff on Horror 421, the podcast. You can go check that out. You'll get my whole rundown. I'll talk about me for an hour.
But it sounds right up your street.
Yeah,
in particular.
absolutely. Yeah. You can see I'm getting closer and closer.
Oh yeah. Well, it's all the only book that I kind of deviated from what I know is called I Know I Will Die in the Silence, The Buryman, and it centers around a Buryman March that actually happens every August in Edinburgh, Scotland. So that I had to stretch my wings a little bit, but other than that, it's mostly the small town Southern. You can hear the twang in my voice stuff.
I was going to say, I really love your accent. Where is that?
I'm in South Carolina. I'm in North Augusta.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. No, I was thinking it. I didn't say it.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Carolina. Yes, South Carolina.
Very careful of what you say, aren't you? Because you don't want to I don't want to offend anybody. It's like, where are you from? Carolina. No, that's awesome, man.
No offense here. I love your guys' accent too. It's I love it. But I asked this of all the musicians that come on this podcast, so I'm going to ask it of both of you individually. Living or dead, and you can say both, living or dead, who would you like to collaborate with or would have liked to collaborated with who was once with us?
I would say I think we would both agree on Elvis.
Oh, yeah, totally. Elvis or Johnny Cash.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, that's tricky. It's got to be Paul Rodgers, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big Axl Rose fan, and I love his. And for me, Axl Rose lyrics wise, I think great. I love him.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was a big GNR fan coming up myself. I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I was into the 80s hip hop when I was in high school, and I kind of branched off into the hair metal. So
nice.
Oh wow. Well, what do you guys have coming up? Are you going on tour anywhere? Are you going to be having any live shows in the near future? Got anything like that on the docket?
So good.
Yeah, so we just finished a headline tour in the UK, so that run is just finished, and we're now fully into festival season. So we feel like we just got home, and then we're back off tomorrow, which is awesome. So all over the UK, Wales, Scotland, playing festivals.
Yeah.
And we're working on our next project. And because we're independent, there's always stuff to do. There's always opportunities to take advantage of. So we're doing a lot of writing already for the next project, and of course we're album with that. So
sorry about that.
Sorry.
Oh, you're all right. I think I lost you for just a second.
Okay. Yeah. Which one? There we go.
You're sideways.
Oh,
there you go.
Awesome.
And I think
are we back?
You're back.
And next year for sure. We are planning on coming back to the States next year.
And we're also going to be heading out to Europe as well.
And Europe as well. So
lots happening.
So when you come to the States, I definitely want to know the dates and locations, because I'd really want to catch a show if I'm able to.
For sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
guys.
We haven't got anything sorted as yet, but we're trying to do that. We've got a new booking agent now, and he's got a lot of connections in the States. So we're hoping that will accelerate us to be able to start booking different states.
We're trying to build connections.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Well, your social media presence seems to be working because, and I'll admit it, I'd never heard of you before until I saw that ad served up to me, and then I was like, huh. And then I went to YouTube and I said, oh my God, these guys are next level stuff. So, and that's why I reached out. I do this music podcast for fun. I'm a small town horror author who loves music. So I found myself booking a bunch of musicians on my horror podcast, and I had people going, what the hell are you booking all these musicians for? I was like, So I branched it off and made this because I just love talking to you guys. Music inspires me, and I tell this, and Grace will appreciate this. I tell this to most of my podcasts. My music is estrogen driven. I love female lead singers, And you are amazing. I mean, you've got the voice, you've got the talent, and I want to see you selling out arenas all over the world if you can. That would be awesome to see. I've had a great time chatting with you guys, and I know I tend to ramble sometimes, so I'm going to be quiet, and I want you to promote anything you want to promote. I want you to talk about your website, talk about your social media links, anything that you want the people out there, my audience, to hear, and I'm going to put links to everything at the bottom of this podcast, so I will be quiet.
Wow. So the best place to head to is our website, which is whenriversmeet.co.uk. And as you were saying, we love to share our music in any way possible. So you'll find on there, you can click and you can get a free download of music. All our social media links. We do regular live streams on Facebook. So we've actually got one coming up on Saturday as well. So we have a lot of fun with those. We do a live stream for an hour, play music and chat with people. So head to our Facebook page, which is all linked. When Rivers Meet is all linked from the website. We're on Instagram. We've got our music videos on YouTube. So we're kind of on all the social media platforms, but best to head to the website. And
we've got a pre-order up at the moment for the new album that's going to be coming out on September the 8th, and we can't wait for that.
Yeah, we've got all different collections of vinyl, and it's very exciting. So we're hoping this is the first time we've been able to chart report. So we're really hopeful for a chart placing as well, which is exciting. Sure.
The album looks amazing. I saw like an image of it that you guys posted. So yeah, I'm definitely going to order the new vinyl. I'll go online after the podcast and place that order. You do ship internationally, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. Awesome. Well, cool, because I got a big stack of records over here that I need to add to. My wife might disagree with me, but she can't hear me right now. Well, guys, it was amazing having you on today. I'm so glad you agreed to come on. I had a great time talking to you, and I want you to have all the success in the world. So I really appreciate it from the bottom of
my And I've already found you on Kindle, and I've already downloaded your books. So I'm a fan as well.
And then when we come out to the States, we'll have to go out and have a beer.
Yes. That sounds great. Hey, I'm down for that anytime. All right, guys. Well, this will conclude this week's episode of Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast. I am your host, small town horror author Charles Campbell. You can find me at valleyboypublications.com. All my social media links are there. We also have a Backstage 421, the podcast Facebook page. So anyway, thank you guys. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you on the next episode of Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast.
We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Backstage 421, the Musicians Only podcast. Be sure to tune in for the next episode. Please like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Listener support links can be found below. Thank you for your support.